Smart motorways is that you use cameras and live signalling to increase capacity, allowing the hard shoulder to be used as a lane some or all of the time. The Daily Mail is reporting this morning that one day this month, more than 1 in 10 cameras were broken, misted up or facing the wrong way. It sent a reporter undercover into the control room. In June 2019, Jason Mercer was killed on a smart section of the M1 near Sheffield. His wife Claire founded the campaign group Smart Motorways Kill and is with us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
What were the circumstances of the crash that killed your husband?
He had a minor collision with someone I now know to be Alexandra Mergeneu, just near Meadowhall in Sheffield. It was just a minor bump. They were in the third and fourth lanes and they needed to stop. It's their legal obligation to stop. And you can see on the traffic cameras that they travel on for quite a distance to try and find somewhere safe to stop, and they can't. Over 2 years ago, we knew less about smart motorways than we do now, so I don't even know if they knew what one was. They were at a sign that said no hard shoulder for 4 miles. So as far as they knew, there was nowhere for them to stop for 4 miles, but they couldn't do that in these circumstances. So they tried to get as far out as the live running lane as they could, but they were hemmed in by a crash barrier, so they couldn't get their vehicles out, and they themselves couldn't get over the crash barrier because there was a 30-foot drop onto the slip road below. So they just did what they could, and then they got out of their vehicles to swap details and take photos. I don't know whether they even knew about what a smart motorway should have done, because it should have immediately closed the lane, and they were right next to a gantry. But none of that happened. And as they were swapping details, a lorry that couldn't move in time ploughed into them and killed them instantly.
I'm very sorry.
Even after they were killed, the technology didn't work. It took public phoning in saying, for the love of God, close the motorway. Even then, even when they were dead and it was utter carnage across 4 lanes, the technology did not pick it up.
The stretch of motorway that your husband was on, was it near junction 34 and 35?
He was killed between junction 34.
Because from the Mail's investigation, that's one of the areas that it is highlighted as a problem area where insufficient cameras were. Now,
so after 2 years after a particularly horrific incident, there was details kept back from the public because it was that bad. So you're talking 2 years after that, and they still haven't learned any lessons.
National Highways, which looks after the motorways in England, has said it doesn't recognise the CCTV availability data that the Mail suggests was generated in this audit. What they've reported was a snapshot of a particular day. If there were more laybys, is that what you are calling for? That
No,
you want the hard shoulder. You want the hard shoulder to be brought back.
This proves you need the hard shoulder back in every single instance. I'm in touch with a few other families, and I read what goes on in the other instances. And your vehicle is not going to break down at a convenience spot. You're not going to have a problem at a convenience spot. It's been proven month after month after month. There is massive revelations on how the technology. Last month, it was the technology couldn't cope with this. The firewall was conflicting with the program, and they couldn't set the gantries. They couldn't close the lanes in the whole northeast of England for days at a time. And, you just need a hard shoulder. It doesn't rely on software and programs and control rooms full of extremely busy people that just are under so much pressure that they don't even monitor the cameras. We think that we were led to believe that they monitor them cameras and they'll pick you up. And in inquest after inquest, under oath, Highways England have to admit they're not even monitored. They're there for after an accident.
Claire Mercer from Smart Motorways Kill. Thank you.
It is now 10.